A typical hiring manager spends approximately 30 seconds on any CV. This implies that you have only 30 seconds to prove your worth and grab their attention, or your CV is out the door. Research shows that people who add measurable metrics to the responsibilities that they've handled increases the chances of landing an interview. There are 3 things I'm going to show you in today's video. 1. How to craft an academic CV. 2. 5 common errors that are made in academic CVs, especially by international students, and how to avoid that. And lastly, 4 things that get you noticed by a potential supervisor or an academic committee. If that looks like something you're looking for, then by all means, keep watching. Hey loves, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new on here, thank you so much for stopping by. My name is Gigi or Stella, whichever you prefer. And if you're a returning subscriber, you are the VVIP of this channel, but I'm guessing you already know that. One of the important documents you need as an applicant for grad school is an academic CV. And if you're a greenhorn to grad school applications or grad school journey in general, and you're not sure what documents to prepare ahead of your application, I have the right starter course for you. I have made a video detailing on all the must-haves for grad school applications, and it is beginner friendly. So do check out that video after you've seen this one. What is a CV and how does it differ from a resume? A CV, short for curriculum vitae, is a Latin term that translates to course of one's life. It showcases your qualifications, academic history, and relevant experiences. While similar to a resume, a CV is a more detailed document and can be up to 3 pages. On the other hand, a resume is a 1-page document that is specific to a job role and is usually the summary of your CV. Unless you've been specifically requested to submit a resume, please send a CV to your potential supervisor. So let's clarify the difference between an academic CV and a conventional job CV. In an academic CV, your academic profile takes precedence. However, in regular job CVs, your work experience typically comes first. But since we're talking about academic CVs in today's video, let's delve into that and talk about how to craft an academic CV. Before going on to create any CV, I'd usually recommend to create a master's CV, which will serve as a source for every other CVs that you want to craft. A master's CV is a comprehensive document that gathers all your qualifications, certifications, awards, research experiences, skills, scholarships, etc. in one place, serving as a source from which you can now craft a tailored CV to fit a specific role. Now that definitions are out of the way, let's delve into crafting an academic CV. You want to start off with personal details such as your name, email address, residential address, phone number, and then a LinkedIn URL if you have a LinkedIn account. Delving into the body of your CV, you'd like to mention your academic information or academic history, which makes sense because it's an academic CV, and like I mentioned earlier, your academic profile would usually take precedence. Using reverse chronological order by end date, list your educational qualifications. For example, you've done a PhD, a master's, or a bachelor's degree. List them in that order, and then include things like thesis topics that you did, if you did one, the grades that you graduated with, and then the dates when you earned the degree. If you're still in the process of obtaining one of those degrees, add the expected month and year of graduation in brackets. Next up, you want to write your research interests and the areas that you intend to focus in grad school. It could just be something that you picked up from in your master's education, or it could be something that you picked up in undergrad. But you want to make sure that you highlight this in bullet points so that whoever it is that is reading through your CV can understand immediately what areas that you want to focus on in grad school. If you have more than one research interest, which most people do, by the way, try as much as you can to ensure that these research interests are closely, similar to each other and are not so diverse and wide apart. That way it looks like you are a jack of all trades and maybe a master of none. Don't appear as a jack of all trades. Next time you want to talk about your research experience, see it as work experience but in an academic light. Specify the tasks and responsibilities that you performed there, and also specify the dates when you started and when you finished that experience. It could also be that you're currently still working there, so you can specify the start date, and then include that you're currently working there. When listing out the responsibilities that you performed at the place where you gained your research experience, try avoiding paragraphs and verbal sentences that sort of wraps up the responsibilities in very big text. It's easier for someone to pick out a key experience or a key value from bullet pointed sentences as opposed to long paragraphs. Remember that a typical hiring manager would usually take about 30 seconds to skim through your CV. You want to make sure you get their attention within that 30 seconds. Quantify the results of your responsibilities. This showcases the value you brought to the role. Research shows that people who add measurable metrics to the responsibilities that they've handled increases the chances of landing an interview. This is because it provides tangible evidence to your achievements. For example, developed and implemented standard operating protocol for new lab interns, leading to 50% increase in productivity, evidenced by a reduced time in experimentation and improved efficiency. Focus on active, skill-based language along with specific examples to highlight your accomplishments. You can do this by starting each bullet point with an action verb such as initiated, illustrated, empowered, etc. as opposed to personal pronouns such as I or we. Also ensure consistency in your verb tenses. For instance, use past tense for previous roles and present tense for current activities. Next, you want to talk about technical skills that you picked up from research experiences or relevant work experiences such as data analysis skills or teamwork, collaboration, etc. You want to also add scholarships or awards that you've received that are relevant to the academics field or relevant to academics in general that you've received. You should also be able to include the awarding bodies, the dates that you received them, and also possibly the amount that was awarded during the scholarships. It's really important for you to add scholarships and awards because it gives them an idea that you are also an achiever in your own small field or in your own small sphere. If you've received an award in terms of maybe volunteering activities that you've done in the past, it's important to also include that because it gives them an idea that outside of academics, you are someone who does something for your society and for your community, and that could really count for a grad school application. Another thing to add, which some people do overlook in the academic CV, is to add their volunteering experience. I already hinted in scholarship and award sections that adding these experiences or these awards from those experiences gives an idea into your personality. This helps your potential supervisor or academic committee understand your personality and see other interests outside of academics that you are interested in. Next, you want to include publications and manuscripts. In this section, you include all the publications that you have ever worked on, whether published or in the process of being published or is currently being reviewed. Include these topics in this section, publications and manuscripts. This is because it gives them an idea that you're in tune with research and you're capable of conducting wholesome research as well as publishing your findings to the academic community. Academic community thrives on research, and being a grad school applicant, you need these as a skill for you to be able to do well in any field of study that you're going into. Next, you want to include things like conferences and presentations. So you've attended conferences, workshops, whatever it is that is relevant to the field that you're applying to. Include this in the conference and presentation section, and also include the dates when you attended this conference. Next, you want to include affiliations or professional bodies that you are affiliated with. It could be an academic institution that you are registered with or a member of, and that is relevant to the field of study that you are planning on going into. Finally, you want to add your extracurricular activities section where you highlight things that you do in your pastime when you're not doing anything related to academic. It could just be, traveling or sightseeing, or it could be something as simple as chessboard playing, anything at all that you do during your pastime. It sort of helps people to understand your personality outside of academics and your professional or career growth. To maintain a clean and professional appearance of your academic CV, here are some general rules of thumb. 1. Stick to one font style and avoid artistic or decorative fonts. I'd usually recommend a Times New Roman font any day, anytime. Use a consistent font size throughout the body of your CV. Usually a size 11 or 12 will do the trick. Use consistent line spacing. I'd recommend 1.15 or 1.5. Save your CV as a PDF file with your name for easy identification. This is important for two reasons. One, sending your CV as in form of a Word document usually comes up with the problem of, words or alignments or things moving from places where you don't want them to. Two, there is a possibility of, you know, people being able to track changes in your CV. So it means, for instance, if you had some things that you changed on that CV, someone can check and see the track changes on that CV if you don't lock track changes. Saving it as a PDF helps save you from all the stress that comes with, the mishaps and the accidental errors that happens with Word documents. So it's easier for you to do all of that and save as a PDF file, and you're sure that nothing is going to move and no one will be tracking any changes that you've made to your document. Plus, you don't want to come up as someone who does not pay attention to details, which is a really strong suit for someone who is a grad or a potential grad student. As my way of adding value to this community, I've also created a free template that you can use in creating your own academic CV. So do check the description box for that template and use it as a guide to creating your own academic CV. Finally, remember to cross your T's and dot your I's. Attention to details is a great suit for a grad school applicant, and that should be reflected in your academic CV. As always, remember where you're coming from, remember where you are, and remember where you're going. Until next week, it's all shades of love.